Welcome back to another edition of the Locker Room Report. I'm Brady Beedon, joined as always by head coach Tyrone Wheatley. Coach, let's talk about last week as we always do before we look ahead to Truman State. You're a little frustrated after that Indy loss. I'm sure a lot of people were. No one likes losing. What did you take away from that game? And once everything got to settle down a little bit, what were your takeaways from the loss to the Greyhounds?
The takeaway was that we're a good team. You know, people probably could sit here and say, well, you lost. How are you a good team? Well, we're a good team in spite of. And what I mean by that is these guys can play ball. Mm-hmm. As you and I was talking about, the post-traumatic stress syndrome of being tight, of what the past, let the past go. Let that baggage go. Mm-hmm. Let's go play football. And they're going to, hey, listen, those guys are on scholarship. They're coached really well. That coach is an incredible coach. He's done an amazing job. And he had his struggles when he first got there to build the program into what it is. But we have to be able to overcome that and understand that the waves are going to come, and we just have to overcome the waves and not tighten up and get into the trigger of, oh, my God, here it goes again. Instead of saying, oh, let's go. I love being down, or I love that you scored, because now it gives me a chance to show you who I am and what we're about. But we're a good team, and I love this young team. This team is young. We're coming together, but it's just so frustrating when you see the work that they put in and, just come up short.
Who were some of the guys that did stand out that you went, all right, I can work with this guy? He showed up on film multiple times against Indy.
Well, of course, you go back to Champ. Champ Edwards, he showed up. Offensive line, Tweedy showed up. Who also showed up? The running backs. The running backs showed up pretty good. Miles McCaffrey showed up. He showed up defensively. Caleb Coleman, he's gone. Carl Ware is showing up. And a couple of the young guys at the corner position. Unfortunately, Walk, hurt his hand. But, they're not young, but there were transfers. Tillman and Clifford Buchanan, they showed up. So you have these pieces, right? But once again, we have to be able to come out and dictate instead of take the first punch to say, oh, no, that punch didn't hurt that much. I could fight this fight instead of going out and delivering the first blow.
So going on a really long road trip to Truman State, it's longer than going up to Michigan Tech. Long way to Kirksville, Missouri. I've done that drive. It's a lot of corn, a lot of nothing between Detroit and Kirksville. With the long road trip, is there any change in preparation? I know sitting on a bus for that long, you want to get out and move. But what's the road trip going to be like? Because the one you went on, Tiffin, that's a pretty close ride. That's nothing too bad. Long one to Truman, how are you preparing for that aspect of the game?
Well, like anything else, you want to get the road rust off, meaning once you get to Kirksville, you want to get them off the bus, get the blood flowing, get them moving. But then at the same time, get them back on the schedule, get them in the bed, get them up the next day, get them moving again, right? So keeping them hydrated. But the biggest thing I think for me was as a player, but at the same time want to implement to these guys, it's a chance for you to just be by yourself, be with yourself. Collect your thoughts, look through the playbook, but at the same time, rest and relax and just be with yourself. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of guys nowadays don't appreciate is just that alone time, that me time to really think about what it is for that bus ride home if the outcome isn't what you want it to be.
Because I know you've probably experienced it. I know I have. It's a lot more fun. You get on that bus ride knowing you got 10 hours in front of you celebrating a win, and then rather than it being dark, you have your head down and just keeping it quiet. That can be as big of a motivator as anything to try and get a win on the road.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? So that's what we talk about, just being with yourself and thinking about those things. But at the same time, you want to imagine and visualize the victory and the things that it takes to get the victory. And the biggest thing is the things that we are facing right now in our losses, they're all changeable, right? They're all changeable. It's not nothing that we can't change. They can be changed.
Talk to me about Truman State. I know they're 0-3. They just took one on the chin to Saginaw Valley. What can you tell me about the Bulldogs?
Well, like you say, man, the worst animal is a wounded one right now. We're both wounded at this point, but there's no one that wants to protect their house as a wounded animal right now. Like you say, they played the same competitions we played, some pretty good teams leading up, but they're good. Offensively, they're going to get after you. They are going to they put some points up, but defensively, they've let some things go a little bit. But make no mistake, this is a home game for them. You have two wounded guys, two wounded opponents going head-to-head, and they're going to get after us.
What are the keys to a Warrior victory and picking up that first win on the road out in Kirksville?
Well, first and foremost, getting off the bus, sprinting from the bus to the locker room, sprinting from the locker room to the field, and sprinting the entire game. What I mean is we have to get out fast. We have to get out fast, right? We have to get out fast. And in keeping with the sprinting theme, it's a relay. If you get tired, tap your helmet, let the next man in, and let's go. The next portion of it is what we've been doing. We've been doing a pretty good job of it, keeping penalties low and playing smart football. What we didn't do last week, we didn't score in the red zone. We put together drives. We just didn't finish them. We didn't finish in the red zone. And although we have one of the most incredible kickers in college football right now, love him to death, I will only like to see him kicking extra points, right? But, however, anytime we're in the red zone, we should score and not take ourselves out of scoring position.
I appreciate it, Coach. You might not want to sprint from the locker room. It's a long way. It's a long ways away through that field house. But, Coach, I appreciate good luck against Truman.
Oh, thank you very much.
He's head coach Tyrone Wheatley. I'm Brady Beedon, and you're listening to Warrior Football here on WDTK The Patriot.